What's up guys, Enlightened Archfiend here with Team ECCEN-TRICK with another duel commentary video. This time it's Emmett's Tellar Demise specifically versus my Mermail Atlanteans. I apologize that my Mermail Atlanteans are getting a little repetitive, but it is my favorite deck in this format. I promise I will do another deck profile soon, but we're going to get right into the match with a, I'm starting first with a Teus, 2 discard Dragoons, adding Diva, and the other card I added I didn't see, but I'll get back to that. So I normal summon Diva, special summon the heavy infantry from the deck, give me another normal summon for Neptibus, use effect to send the Dragoons. Then after that I will add Marksman because I know that Tellar Knights play a lot of face downs and a Megalo. So at this point, you know, I'm trying to set up a board. I didn't exactly think out my plays too cohesively here, but that was my fault. So I'm trying to think of a way to hand loop him, to try and get traps out of his hand. So I summon the Tatsunoko, discard 2 for the Megalo, add the Abyss Scale, overlay into Gaios. I figure I can try and at least re-establish, or establish some kind of a board, even though I kind of misplayed a bit here. I activate the Scale, and then he ends up MSTing and burning it away. So this, then he goes for Deneb, and I use Gaios effect to detach to negate, and then he just sets Demise, draw 3, set 1, and then during his end phase he discards 2 and he passes. So now it's my turn. I still kind of have control of the game, but at the same time he's picking up momentum. So I'm kind of getting a little nervous. I'm thinking here, and I tribute off, figuring that if he has an alpha or something, then I can just kind of out that. So then I swing over the Game of Steel that I gave him, and then I swing for 17 direct. Which was, I feel like the Game of Steel was definitely a smart play, because then if he has an alpha, it doesn't really do anything because you need a Tellar Knight. But he has that Spell Fragrance, which is kind of slowing me down a bit because I could have instant fusioned. I also have an Upstart Goblin, but it's whatever. He normals a Vega, and no effect. Then after that, it's my turn, so I draw. Keeping my eye on my graveyard, because if I have a Moonglaze play, I definitely want to use it. Then after that, I swing for 17 and then 28 direct. Then after that I pass it to him, he draws. So then he normal summons his Altair, attempt effect. I attempt to negate and he alphas me, which I figured he had one, but then he gets the Deneb, he gets a search, and at the same time he gets a draw, which that's a lot of advantage. That's honestly why I love Tellar Knights. I completely respect his build of Tellar Knights. Definitely fun to play, well, not fun to play against, but at the same time it is. Then I swing over the Deneb that he has, then I pass it to him, leaving me with only a Tatsunoko, a heavy infantry, and 2 sets on board. So I chalice his Altair, he lets it go through, and then he swings over my Tatsunoko for an extra 400 because they're both 17. So he swings over it, setting another, and then he passes to me. So then it's my turn. So I go Upstart. I'm left with only the heavy infantry, which really kind of hurts. Kind of a sitting duck. So I discard heavy infantry and Moonglaze, and then after that he bottomlesses me, which really hurts. So I search out the Abyss Sphere, in hopes that I can kind of mitigate the crappy situation I'm in. So at this point, I'm kind of stuck. I have a Soul Charge in my hand, but it doesn't exactly help with the situation that I am soon to be in. Only because that I heavy infantry the Spell Fragrance, and I decided to instant fusion. So I summon out the Norden, but then he Fiendish Chains it, which really hurt because I was going to go for a Dragoon Search, but what have you. It is what it is. And then after that he MSTs my Sphere, which really, that I knew it was probably going to end up being game at that point. I just wanted to play it through because you never know with Mermails, they can tend to come back. But so then at the end of this game, I know I end up with a Soul Charge in my hand and no way to use it. Then he summons Dweller, and that hurts. So I set 1 and pass, he Dwellers me, swings over, sets another, draw phase, he detaches during my turn. I'm just like, oh man, all the answers, man, all the answers. But nonetheless, I still, I played it through. I feel like I played valiantly for game 1, so he just swings at me again, and then spell fragrances, and I'm just stuck at this point. There's no way I could use the soul charge in my hand, because by then I'd already be at exactly 1,000, so even at that point I just scooped it up. So, you know, now we're gonna end up siding. I end up siding the hate for Tellar Knights, because I definitely do have sides for them, but I didn't really see any of it, and even when I did, he had the outs, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you see a lot of cards there, but I don't side all of it in. I'm just kind of deciding what's the best options. And I know that I tried siding a lot of ways to out his alphas, because those really hurt me, because I can play through back row if I have ways to recur, but mermails don't really have ways to recur as much, and that's honestly why I play some of the cards that I do. That's why I play the Sphere and the Lind. That's why I play the Trike combo with the Bahamut Shark. That's why I play number 37 Hope Woven, because I want ways to float into things if I'm ever in the scenario where I need to. I just like having floaters. It's much easier to recur stuff. Even though mermails don't really have a lot of defensive plays, I try and make it so that they do. And the deck still works and it still functions, because those cards are generally good in the deck either way. But now we're shuffling it up, going into game 2 with the sides. And this time he opts, I opt to go first again, only because I don't want him setting up his traps before I can even get any plays off. So I normally side 1 for 1, Mulling Glace out for the Neptibus. Use its effect, send the Dragoons, add the other one. And then, at that point, I'm trying to think of what to do. So end up adding, what do I add here? Oh yeah, that's right, I add the lead. So then I reveal Megalo, discarding Dragoons, and lead. So then I add the Sadist, which actually is one of my good sides. I like that card a lot. It's basically Mizuchi, but for traps instead of spells. So then I have normal summon the Diva, special summon heavy infantry, activate Cetus on Megalo. I apologize, there will be kind of a lag in terms of our play in a moment, only because we had to search a ruling about Cetus. Cetus actually does negate counter traps because it is a continuous effect on the field. So it does out cards like Solemn Strike and Solemn Warning, which is honestly really helpful to me. It's definitely good. That's honestly why I side 1 copy of it, because if I'm playing against a back row heavy deck, then I can out Strike or Warning. So we have a little conversation about it. It's it's all respect. There's no hostility between us. We're just talking about how we would rule it. He's confused as to what the ruling is. I am not completely certain, but then we search it up and we find out that it does actually negate counter traps, because it's already on the field when the counter trap activates, so there's really not much stopping it. I figured because it was a continuous equip spell effect, just like Royal Decree or anything related, it would negate. So, but as you can see, I tried establishing a board. I have a Neptibus, I have a Megalo with the Cetus, and I also have the Herald of Arclight. Just to try and slow him down. He summons Alsham, which burns me for 1,000. I let that go through because it's not really that prevalent of an effect, or at least I didn't think. He swings over my Neptibus, so I take it. And after that, he sets his back row as per Tellar Knight game, as per Tellar Knight play style. And then after that, he spell fragrances, and he actually shouldn't have sent that spell fragrance. It just would have been negated for the turn, but then I ended up top decking the Neptibus again. And I was gonna send, but then I realized that I can't because Herald is on board. So I tribute off for Megalo, he alphas me, draws, and at that point I set and I pass. So then he has 2-step back row, I have a Herald, and I have a set monster. And he's ready to make some plays, so he Regekis me. I negate it just to protect myself, because at that point I'd be, wide open. I'd be dead in the water, pun intended. So at this point, he's got 2 in hand, he's got 2 back row, I got 1 face down monster and 1 card in hand, and I'm kind of a sitting duck. I'm not really doing too hot. I try and flying see him just so I can kind of prevent him from making any crazy plays, but then he shouns me, burns me for 1,000 with Altair. And then Altair just swings over my gun, and I'm just kind of stuck at this point. So I draw, and I top deck another Flying C, which, you know, when you see your sides, it's great, until you start seeing too many of your sides, then it kind of hurts. So he's looking at his cards, checking out some of their effects, and now at this point he switches everything to attack position, swings over my face down, which was a Flying C. He laughs at that, by the way. Then I take another 14, another 700, so I take 21 total there. And after that I scoop it up. That's game. I lost 0-2. My sides were Denkos, Twin Twisters, Flying C's, and Sadist, because I figured I can just stop all of his traps. But regardless, it was definitely a good match. He just sides his maxis. So, again, comment, rate, subscribe. There will be a deck profile for his Tellar Demise coming soon. Keep your eye out for that. And also check out the other duel video that we just finished with his Dark Ignites versus my Mermail Atlanteans. Alright guys, Team ECCEN-TRICK out.